Hey everyone, welcome to Land Investing Online. Come unlock your potential freedom through land investing. Here at Land Investing Online, we teach students how to profitably buy and sell vacant land. This is the simplest, least competitive, and most profitable sector of real estate. To learn more, visit landinvestingonline.com. We even have a free Discord with tons of successful investors, including Ron and myself. Come learn from the best. Please subscribe, like this video, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you guys are listening on. It really means the world to Ron and I, and it moves this business forward. As always, I'm Daniel Apke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Welcome, Ron.
Hey Dan, good to be here.
Let's go. Today's topic is how to automate your real estate business. So we're going to talk about automation and things of that sort. But before we get into that, let's go over one of the questions from our featured member today. For those who do this as a side hustle, approximately how many hours would you say you work on the land flipping per week? Let's say to make at least a couple deals or more per year. So a couple deals per year, Ron, is not a lot at all. Do you think they meant month there or what?
I don't think so, based on the way they asked that. I think they just kind of wanted to be part time in real estate. This came straight from Discord. I responded on Discord, but I wanted to bring this up because it's more people. I think it's more people's goal than we realize. Dan, is just to do maybe a deal every 2 months or a deal a month. And what I told him is, I said, like, honestly, once you do the education, once you learn, once you maybe do a couple mailers and learn the processes. Add some systems like we're going to talk about today. It's not to do a deal a month is, I think I said 5 to 10 hours a month, which might be even 10 hours is probably too high if you're trying to do one deal. Um, yeah, it's just not that much to do a deal a month. And it's crazy to think about, like, you can make 100 grand easily a year doing one a month. So yeah, I think 5 to 10 hours a month. Once you get the education down, once you understand the business, which might take 3 months or so.
I think once you get everything in place and you're sending mail, it's going to be hard to limit yourself to two a year. But yeah, you just send mail and see kind of what comes from it. It's not like you can plan to only do a few. You can base it off of, um, I guess, what your historical return is on that mail. But today's topic, let's get into the show: how to automate your real estate business. And I like to see this business. So my background is different online businesses. So I had drop shipping, high ticket drop shipping businesses, Kindle publishing, blogging sites, different things of that sort. And I sold those last year, but I always looked at those like they were semi automated. So I could get everything in place, get my employees in place. And I really like to focus on calling that a semi automated business, which sounds really attractive, but it's a lot of work at the same time. But I think the same thing about this, like you can automate so many different parts of this, and I like there's so much that we have automated, but there's so much more that we haven't automated in the future. I see so much potential there, and that's kind of why I wanted to get into this, especially like this question of today. If you're just doing a couple a year, even if you're this is relevant to anyone, even if you're doing a couple a year, like automating a business just is good for your long-term success. It's good to sell the business if you want to sell it down the road. Whatever you're doing, it's great for that. So Ron, what is automation and why is it so important?
Yeah, I mean, automation is essentially, like, what I look at it is like tasks that take hours in a week. Like, how do I remove those tasks or make them automated? Whether it's sending an email once something is sent to title, stuff that we do a lot is what I'm trying to automate as much as possible. Like, typing an email is difficult. We use Zapier quite a bit for these automations. It combines with Airtable, which we use for our CRM and Google Drive and all this stuff, that we kind of combine it to do these tasks. I think 4 Hour Work Week, probably, Dan, is a common book that talks about automations. Like, so much of our week, if you look at it, is until you really do this, is consumed with just busy work. And people, like I've said time and time again, like, people love to say they're busy or they're grinding. But what does that really mean at the end of the day? Like, what is it producing? Like, that's what I look at. What is it producing? Can I do these 40 hours of work in 10 hours and be just as productive because I have 30 hours of automations? That's what you really need to look at in your business. And it's not something that happens overnight. Like, it's a process and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I feel like people have the wrong idea of this business. It has to be so manual. You're constantly on the phone with title companies and sellers and buyers and acquiring land and realtors. Although that is true, there are some manual pieces. Do they need to be manual? And is there a way to automate parts of that or all of it? Like even in terms of the acquisitions, like yes, we have someone answering the phone and we have salespeople, but like, what if there's some automated line or, a video of myself talking to them that comes up and just explaining the process and everything. And then 40% of those people are fine after that. And then the 60% need to talk to someone. There's just, we had our last episode was thinking bigger. This is a part of thinking bigger. Like you can automate so much. If you would have told someone 20 years that you would call a company and no one would answer, it's going to be an automated service for everyone, they would have like people would have looked at you backwards. People didn't think that could happen. Now you start calling, and yes, we all hate them, those automated systems and stuff, calling them, and it's hard and it's annoying. But like that's just one thing that comes to mind, that they're automating, making sure you're getting all the information before they actually connect you with labor. So that's the biggest thing there. And there's just like I said, so much automation potential, Ron. What's a beginner step to automating this business? And I do want to talk about automating business isn't only about systems. It is really, like, if you look at the technical definition, it's about your systems, automating your systems and your manual work into automated work. But I kind of look at this topic for this as well as kind of hiring and getting, automating your employees' business so you're not actually the one doing the work.
Yeah, I think in that aspect, the hiring part, Dan, is creating processes for the employees. So it's not always, Ron, what is this? Employees just asking questions and questions and questions. Like processes for the employees is really important. Having roles for employees is really important. I think the first thing, Dan, is like you need some kind of CRM and system to hold this. I think Airtable is really good because it's got a free version and I think it is scalable. But I think that's the first step. Just some of these things are going to cost more money than others. Like getting an answering service is probably a really common first step. I don't know if you call it an automation, but it's having someone else do a responsibility that takes up a ton of time. Yes, you're still going to have to call back people who are interested in selling their land and getting purchase agreements. But as we know, if you guys are doing this business, 80% of the people just aren't very happy with us. So it's just wasted time on the phones. I think that's a really good first one, Dan. Do you have something in mind?
No, I do think that's a good one, and I do consider that automated. You pretty much just outsource the whole part of your business, and then they're automatically sending you the transcript and the answers to the questions they asked, and you're reviewing those. So it does automate that phone call. That automates the system. You're getting back, just a brief description of what it went, so you call them back or delete the lead or whatever that happened there. I think that's a really, really good idea. CRM is big. I know a lot of people work off pen and paper or whatnot, or Google Sheets or whatever. At some point, you're going to need to get a CRM. And then within those CRMs, there's so many. Ron uses Zapier a lot. There's just so many automations you can do. Like maybe you're changing something from something that was in due diligence to escrow purchasing, and it automatically sends the PA to a title company that you have. Things like that. There's so much with automation. I'd like to say the goal of this podcast was to get you to start thinking about it. And I would start by writing down every manual thing you do. And this is going to be a pain, but do it for a week. And you're going to miss some things, but every manual thing you do throughout the day from business wise, right? So if this wasn't business related, I would say, okay, today I went to my coffee machine and I put grounds in the coffee machine, and then I filled up it with water, and then I put the water in the coffee machine, then I turned it on, right? Like maybe I could get a machine that automates that whole process. There are coffee makers that do that. You just load them up with coffee, you set a timer on it, and it would start. Like that's one example. But think of this in regards to your business and write down every single step what you do business related wise, right? Sent title and email, follow up with buyer seller, ask the buyer if they're ready to close on this date, like write down all those steps and then work backwards from there and think about what is taking the most time from your day. Also, what do you hate to do the most? Because you can automate really anything. What do you hate to do the most? That's what we say to hire from. But what do you hate to do the most? Look at automating too, because that it can really, really make your life easier. If you hate the price, maybe there's some sort of automated pricing out there or something you can create. If you hate to scrub, that's easy to outsource. We talked about that before. Just think what takes the most time, what you don't like to do the most, and work backwards from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you do that, like Dan said, great idea. Label every single one automation or outsource. And that's how you get out of the business, like automation or outsource. Not everything can be automated. Like you can't have a system or a robot deciding if you should buy a property, but you can certainly hire an operations person to do that and a high level thinker to do that and decide if you're going to purchase that land or not. The main thing that I've done, Dan, is eliminate like manual emails. Like I really have, just for things that I'm like obviously there are things, but I have so many automated emails going out, and they're still personal. Like they are personal. What I have them do on Zapier is have them automatically go into my draft, and they're already filled out. So I might have to put in a name or something like that, and then just click send. So it takes that 3 5 minute process down to literally 15 seconds. And as you do this over and over, like, yeah, it doesn't sound like much. I save 3 minutes there. But if you do this over and over again in your processes in your system, it's going to save you hours and hours every week. Like it's going to save you 50% of your time in a week. One thing I did want to bring up, Dan, I think in this business, like I think any business really, automation, like you said about the answering services, with the robots answering phones. What's your take on automation and customer service and how they kind of maybe automation might take out some of that customer service or customer touch, if you're automatically doing stuff like that? What's your kind of take on that?
I think overall it helps customer service, right? That phone conversation is not going to, but that automated email, when you switch it so you don't need to first off, there's more room for error when it's manual, so it takes away a lot of the room for error. Second thing, it's automatic and instant. So when typically if you move it from due diligence to escrow purchasing or whatever it's in, then it sends an email directly to title. So it speed things up, which is good for customer service. It's automated, which less room for mistake and error, which is good for customer service. And although there's parts of it that are bad that the customer is going to get mad about, if you had an automated phone service or something like that, which I'm not going to do personally with this, I'm not going to automate our phone service or anything like that as of now. But yeah, their customers generally aren't going to like that, I don't think. But at the same time, they do get everything they need from that phone call. It has all the information on it. Overall, it's a really, really good thing with customer service. Automation's a great thing with customer service. Think of it, think of Amazon, or I just had an Amazon package delivered. It told me exactly when it's delivered. It said your package is delivered, your package is on the way, your package is, that's all automated stuff. It's not someone manually typing that in, obviously. That's great customer service because I know when it's going to get here exactly. I have all those details at my fingertips. Same goes for this business. When everyone's in the loop from automations, it just creates a better customer service and better environment for the buyer and seller.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I was thinking of more of, obviously, in more of a negative aspect, like how it, but that makes 100% sense as long as your automations kind of are in check and you understand what's happening in your business. You don't want to keep track of what you're automating so you know, so your employees know, because you don't want that getting all confused. You don't want to just make an automation and then not tell your employees or stuff. Like should be a conversation every time you do stuff. And like I said before, guys, this stuff all takes time. Maybe you add one thing this week that might cut 2 hours out of your time, and you slowly do this and add automations. Think about it too. Like think about like Dan said, what don't you like? And I'm not talking about outsourcing right now. What are you just wasting time on? Like when you write that list out, like Daniel said, see what you're actually wasting time on that doesn't need your full attention and it can be automated. I think that is a really big part, and it's going to help you grow your business because whether you're a really good pricer, it's going to give you more time to price. Whether a really good salesperson, you'll be on the phone more and doing that. So it's something that needs to be done as you're growing your business. I think it can really help everyone.
Yeah, and as Ron said, like you'll be able to price more, you'll be able to do this more, you'll be able to do more high value tasks, and you'll save manual time. Really, what Ron's saying with those couple sentences is your profits will go up. Automation
Yep.
will create more profits. And the more profit you have, the more you can invest in your business, the happier the customers are going to be generally because you're treating them better, you're investing in different things. Yeah, that's just capitalism 101. But one thing Ron did mention employees, you guys always, when you're automating, have to get feedback from your employees if you have employees. You always have to be tweaking. We've had a lot of automations we've done, and our employee will come back and be like, hey, this isn't working out. This is wrong. And you got to tweak it again or come up with the solution or just delete it. Don't be afraid to automate something and get rid of it. Be like, this didn't work. That's great. Now you know it doesn't work. Move on to the next and try something different. But there's a lot of times where it will work. You just need to find another solution. So always get feedback from your employees or people you're outsourcing to or yourself. Like when you're doing it yourself, just make sure what you implement is helping you, not hurting you.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to add, Dan. I don't want to fluff this episode up too much. I think it's something you guys need to think about. Like I've said multiple times in your business, save time. Like, don't be happy just being busy for 40 hours a week. Because if you're sending emails that are just updating people, like all that stuff doesn't need to be done as manual as it is. If you're doing that for 10 or 15 hours a week, and some people are like, it's just constant stuff. Try to automate your updates, automate your communications with people. That's a really good first step. Some of these things like Zapier does cost some money, but at the end of the day, like the time, the money, your time is more valuable than the whatever $50 a month or something. Then
Yep, exactly. All right, well, that's all I have. Overall, guys, this can be extremely tedious, but it helps so much in the end. You have to be constantly looking to improve and automate your systems. It's just going to make you a more profitable and sustainable business. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining. To get started, visit landinvestingonline.com. Click the Start Here page. There's 4 steps. There's you do some homework, do some YouTube videos, watch some YouTube videos. Then you have a consultation with us, join the Discord. It takes you through the steps to become a good land investor. I would start there. So go to landinvestingonline.com, click the Start Here page. As always, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you guys are listening on. It means a ton to us. But we appreciate you guys joining, and we'll see you next episode. Thanks for joining, guys.
thanks, guys.